So now I'm joined by my co-writer Eli, who's helped me do these recaps, and we're missing Rebby, who's in LA. But we are excited to do a Q&A with the Provo's most eligible team, so let's have them come on up.
Awesome, thank you.
Hey guys.
This is crazy. Oh. It'll happen. Don't worry. Hey!
Hey, it's Annalee.
No, she's stairs.
Okay, first things first.
These are like a little wobbly.
Colin, have you picked a major?
No. But I picked the girl.
Good enough. So, how's it going, you two?
It's going really well.
It's great.
Yeah.
Your relationship is how many days old now?
About 1 week? No, less.
Like 6 days?
Well, starting since November, I guess, like 5 months.
Well, this is probably a good time to ask you because it was alluded to in the final episode that there was some stuff happening off screen. And so I assume that there are fans of the show who are sincere fans of the show here. I assume that they would want to know how much was happening off screen, and did your relationship actually start much earlier than you're letting on?
The juicy deeds.
Do you want to answer that?
Yeah. No, you can. Go.
Okay. Yeah, so it was interesting. I just think we had like a good friendship from the beginning. And I was like, hey, actually, she's really fun to hang out with. And so we just like, I was like, hey, like, are you doing anything after class? And then we just see each other after class. And then my roommates are in a band called The Moss. They're really good. And anyways, so she likes that kind of music, and I do too. So we're like, hey, we should go together. And then from there, we just kind of like started hanging out more.
Did you kiss off camera?
We actually didn't. I don't know where. So I
That
don't
was
know.
your first kiss on camera.
I don't know where Elena like heard that, but someone's spreading rumors, but it wasn't true.
Yeah, that was their first kiss.
Okay, so a big conflict point in that last episode was the fact that you're going away for spring and summer. What's happening there? And Annalee, I know that in episode 4, that was a major concern for you. So what have you decided on that front?
Yeah, I mean, I still don't know what I'm doing for summer, honestly. So I could stay, but I mean, it just depends. She's going to school.
I'm going to be up here for back-to-back semesters, so I'm going to be up here. We're just going to kind of take it as it comes, not really worry about it yet. Just kind of live in the moment. Life's too short to plan ahead, put an expiration date on things, so.
One day at a time.
Yeah.
Well, Colin, DJs are needed everywhere.
Yes.
So
You know what? It was a success. Thanks for everyone that came.
He brought his board. We're going to do it after this.
a true DJ would have come up and helped Meg at the beginning when she couldn't get the mic to work, but that's all right.
I don't know. That's not my problem.
Okay, so let me ask all of you a question that has been on my mind since I first heard that this was going to happen. And I told Remington beforehand that I would jab a little bit, but I would not be mean-spirited. So if I cross that line,
We've heard it all.
I apologize already. You have received a very mixed reaction to this.
Yes.
A lot of people have joked about it. A lot of people are sincere fans. And I wonder, when you started putting it together, did you expect that you were going to be made fun of a lot? Did you get made fun of more than you were expecting? And what has that been like for you?
We didn't expect that like anyone would watch it. Like we expected a little group of people might watch it maybe, but not the reaction that it got. And so I guess to answer your question, no, I didn't expect we'd get made fun of that much. But like, I don't know. You can see all the people here tonight. Like they're here to see it, whether it's good or bad, cringy or funny or romantic. Like people want to watch it, and I'm just here to get Colin a girlfriend. So
Well, okay, let me push you on that a little bit.
go for it.
it has been my impression that as you went throughout the season, you started sort of poking fun at yourself more and more.
Oh, yeah.
Is that true?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so was that a result of the online response that you got? Did you just start to lean into the cringe because of what you were seeing on the internet?
Yes, we decided to just embrace the cringe full force. Yeah, after we saw the comments, we were reading them like the first night, and we just thought they were so funny. Like, people were taking it so seriously, and like, we decided, to embrace it and to fit it into the show as much as we could because we thought it was funny.
Is that how all of you feel, or is Remington just using you as pawns to entertain the
You
world?
can't answer that question under contract, so. No, just kidding.
So that
You're free
kind
now.
of leads to the question we've been asked most as official recappers of Provo's Most Eligible. Why does the world need a Provo version of a reality dating show? The least sexual reality dating show to ever exist.
I don't know. It started out for me as just finding Colin a girlfriend, but seeing, the reaction from everybody, I guess people love the cringe, and if we're good at providing that for them, then we'll keep doing that as long as possible. I don't know if it's Provo needs to have it or should have it, but we're doing it anyway, so.
All right, I've got a series of questions about how you decided who was going to be on the show, but let me start by asking Colin, what did you do to become the most eligible person in all of Provo?
So it actually started off with Remy and I. We were talking one day, and we were just joking around with the idea of The Bachelor. It's a weird show, And we were like, hey, we should do it in our ward. And so it just kind of happened that I was going to be The Bachelor, I guess, in our ward. And then Remy printed out flyers, and people responded, and I was like, oh, shoot, I'm going to actually do this. So that's how it started.
Sorry, we need you to scoot forward a little bit.
Oh, okay.
It's a little crowded.
This is as awkward as the show was, so.
Let's give him the live cringe.
All right, so you select Colin, or Colin selects himself. We decide that he's the most eligible. And then how do you go about finding women for this? Was that difficult? I would imagine that I would have been hesitant to sign up for this, and I'd really like to hear from you on that.
Okay, so I live in the dorms on campus. Fall semester was my second semester here, and I started a fake sorority with my hall because I had FOMO about all my girls at home who were in sororities and stuff. So I found a fatty flyer with his face on it, and I was like, oh, this will be so funny if I can just get all 36 of us on the show. So I brought it to our hall meeting, and I was like, everyone needs to sign up. And so everyone signed up, and we got an email back that was like, too many people signed up, so we're going to need you to actually send in an application. And so I was one of the few girls who sent in another application because I was like, for the memes, this will be so funny if I get in. I totally had the expectation that it was going to be 2 guys with iPhones and 200 people were going to watch it, 150 of them my friends, totally under the radar, something I'd pull out when I was 30 and be like, look at this dumb thing I did. But now we're here.
So at what point then did you start to, I assume you eventually started taking it seriously on some level. When did that happen, or how did that progress happen? He said when she first saw Colin is what Remington says, but.
I showed up the first night, and they had all of this equipment and had this big car, and all the girls looked beautiful, and I was like, this is real. But then how it started to be real for me and something that I wanted to pursue was when me and Colin started hanging out. And that was around the second episode. And after the talent show, we talked to him, and I was like, oh, he's really cool, and I'd love to get to know him better. So around the second episode is when it really became real to me, and that's when all the stress set in, because that's when everyone hopped on board.
So speaking of stress, there were a few things I'm wondering how you reacted to in watching these. First, it seemed, and Colin, you can speak to this as well, but it seemed that you, Colin, were actually upset by Megan's engagement.
We don't say her name
which we were all a little upset because it seemed to happen in the course of one episode. So let's hear how you actually felt about that, and Annalee, how you reacted to seeing that. And I also want to hear about your reaction to the kiss with the other Annalee.
The Crandall scandal.
All right. So I found out actually that she had a boyfriend in December. So I knew like a little bit before she got engaged. Obviously, that wasn't like a surprise to me. I think Megan's a great girl. Like I think she has a lot of cool qualities. I was a little bit like bummed out at first. You know, like, oh dang, like I wonder where things could have gone with Megan. But I'm happy for her ultimately. But you know, things are good. So.
Okay. And so Annalee, how was that for you, seeing that he was upset by that? How did that make you feel?
Sorry. So about Megan's engagement.
Yes.
The second we found out about Megan's engagement, we made fun of Colin for like 3 days straight. I'm not gonna lie. But I'm really happy for her. She seems like she's having the best time ever, and I'm rooting for her. But I was definitely caught off guard. I was like, that's a ring, but but I'm happy for her.
So I want to talk about the other Annalee now and the kiss. The
Crandall scandal.
one of the 2 kisses of this season of Provo's Most Eligible. You heard the crew cheer, which is weird, by the way, that you all cheered when they kissed. A note, just a little bit of feedback. I've never seen anyone look that upset. And you said, that's so rude. And I'm wondering what show you thought you were on when that happened. How upset were you actually? Are you still upset? Let's really get into this.
Okay, so I heard everyone just start screeching, and I knew that Annalee had gone, like, while I was gonna go, like, do my interview. And, like, beforehand, of course, all the girls talk, and they're like, oh, this is what I'm gonna talk to Colin about, or this is what I wanna do. And then so after the Crandall scandal the week before, Annalee's like, oh, like, I'm not gonna kiss him, I'm just gonna tease him. And so when I was like, oh, they kissed, everyone's losing their minds. I was like, oh, this is not what we discussed. And so, and what I said when I found out included, that was rude, and that gave me ligma. And those are 2 phrases that have just become a part of my daily vocabulary. So they didn't have a lot of meaning behind them, but watching that episode after, I was like, I really said that. So, and everyone in the comments also pointed out that I said that, and Noelle Miller also pointed out that I said that. So I'm analog now. So
That was the day America fell in love. Okay, so let me ask you about your families. What has been your family response to all of this? Are they embarrassed or excited for you?
do you want me to go first? Okay, so like I said on the episode, I live with my grandparents, and I called them, and I was like, hey, guys, I'm on a YouTube channel. And they're like, a what? And I was like, you know, like the show The Bachelor? I'm on, like, a spoof of it. And they're like, a what? And I was like, okay, so we're not explaining this. So I've tried to tell them a couple times, but no one in my family really understands what this is. But I've showed them the episodes, and they're like, are you sure you're at school right now? Like, are you doing good in school? And I'm like, all right, we're done.
All right, my mom loves the show. She's a big fan. Yeah, she's my biggest supporter, so it's really great to have her on my side. I remember I called my mom. I was like, Mom, my new roommate and I are gonna film a new show, and she's like, oh, that's so great. Like, I was like, it's The Bachelor, and she's like, okay, like we're gonna do it. But no, she's been a lot of help to me, so it's been good.
We've used the B word a couple of times, so I think we can bring it up now. You had some legal troubles. And I'm curious, did it never occur to you when you started putting this together that might be a problem? Were you really caught off guard by the fact that the network was upset that you were using the word bachelor or using some of the ideas?
Yeah, it was really weird. Like I said, we didn't expect that anyone would watch it, much less the production company that shall not be named that decided to take our videos down. But Yeah, we had no idea it was gonna happen, and then one day we looked on YouTube and they were gone, and so we went into game mode after that, and we took care of some business to sum it up, and we worked it out with them.
So, Annalee, you said you explained to your family that this was a spoof. While we were watching the finale, Eli leaned over and said, "Is this a parody?" And it is legitimately one of the funniest shows I've ever seen. How much of that is intentional? How much of it were you trying to add comedy? And how much of it was it's just funny to watch other humans be humans on TV?
Well, a lot of the times, if you've watched any of the other interviews or podcasts that have been done about this, a lot of the girls like to explain that we're not that bratty in person. We keep in mind the fact that we are on Provost Most Eligible and no one's gonna watch it if a bunch of girls get along. So, of course, we're gonna, instead of keeping some things under our belt or just being oh, they kissed, instead of bringing up the Crandall scandal a lot, of course, I'm gonna amp up my brattiness a lot on the show because we do have a great outline to follow with the actual show, but we understand that a lot of the times is we're being funny, the intros is them just having a good time.
Well, and that explains why Colin acted so outrageously throughout the series.
Yeah.
It's not mean-spirited, it's badgering. Okay, so Colin, let me ask you about that then. You seemed, I'll just say, far more uncomfortable on camera than any of the women that were on the show.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of being on camera. They did a really good job of editing, all the times I messed up. There's a lot going on there.
Yeah, so why agree to do this in the first place if you're that nervous about being on camera? I mean, you knew you were going to be on camera, right?
Right. We didn't know it was going to be this big. So after the first episode came out, I was like, dang, there's going to be 100,000 people watching this. I got to say good stuff. But it's hard,
Well, let me follow up on that with all of you. The internet is forever. And whether we like it or not, and whenever Facebook reminds me of what I did 10 years ago, I consider that a hate crime. I don't want to see that. While you were making this, or even now, were any of you nervous about the fact that this was going out into the world and maybe 10, 15 years from now, you were still going to have to deal with the fact that people could access this or have memories of it?
Do you want to do it?
Who cares? I don't care. Colin's mom likes it, so that's all that matters.
Wait, say that again. Colin, what?
Colin's mom likes it, so that's all I care about.
So, Colin, you realize you need to say good stuff, as you put it. There seemed to be a remarkable difference between episode 2 and episode 3. In episode 2, you say to Megan, so do you think you have a chance?
Best line of the whole show.
I think my husband ran into the room. I was laughing so hard when you said that. Was there some coaching, some conversational tips that were offered, some direction?
I really should have.
What accounts for the improvement?
All right, so that was just a dumb question to ask. But to be honest, I think it was taken slightly out of context. If I remember, I can't remember, but it was dumb. Okay, I've learned. I'm sorry. That's not a good question to ask. Don't do it. I will never do that. It's funny because Remy always makes fun of me for that. He's like, so do you think you have a chance? I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah, she makes fun of me too.
Then let me give you a chance to throw Remington under the bus, both of you. Do you feel like there were any points other than that one where you got an unfair edit, where something was taken out of context, or that you don't feel like it was accurately portraying?
No, I think he actually did a really good job of editing. Actually, they both did. They really did a really good job of editing.
Not a single moment that you thought gave you a bad edit.
What does the contract say? No, that's a joke. That's a joke. I agree with Colin. I didn't see anything that I was like, oh, that was taken out of context. So they did a really good job at making sure that we're represented really well on the show.
Remington, did you have anybody else complain to you? Well, please go ahead. And then that's going to be my follow-up question, because we don't have everyone up on the stage. So I'm going to let you honestly speak for them.
I was just gonna say, for the most part, we tried to keep it like just as best as we could, like make everyone look as best. I mean, obviously Colin, it was really hard to keep out some of that stuff, just cause, you know. But anyway, for the most part, we tried to keep it like just as best as we could. There was a lot, like some of the girls would say like, "Oh, keep that out," you know. And like I think Remington did a really good job of like on set making sure that the girls were comfortable. And that was really important to us. What do you think, Annalee? Do you think everybody was comfortable most of the time?
It started being better on set when they started to feed us. The first couple episodes, we were there for 5 or 6 hours without food. But then they
You
started.
guys. So how much time did you really spend at your bishop's house? Because it seems like you were there all the time.
That's my dad's
Oh,
house.
it's your dad.
That's the house I grew up in, actually. So most of the time it was like, hey, dude, where are we filming tomorrow? I don't know. My dad's house is free, so let's go there.
So a great level of organization went into all of this.
Yeah. Towards the end, it got a little better. But
Okay, so what's next for the Provost Most Eligible team?
So our plan is season 2, obviously. I'm sure a lot of people know that we have applications on our website for it, and we've had, I don't know how many, 700 people apply. So a lot more than the first season for sure. Grace French. Anyway, but we've put a lot of thought into it, and I think, because you just mentioned we weren't very organized the first season, but I think we're gonna take a lot more time to organize it and make sure that it goes a lot smoother for us at least. But I think I'll let Remington talk about what our plans for the actual.
Yeah, season 2. So we're gonna have we're gonna try and go a different direction. We're gonna make our own unique dating show. So like I said in the episode, we're gonna have 3 girls that we're gonna help find love. So it's gonna be different than the Bachelor or Bachelorette. But yeah, that's.
Do you know who the 3 girls are?
We don't know yet, so we haven't looked through. We've like glanced through the applications, but we've been busy filming and getting this out here. But in the next couple of weeks, we'll start letting people know about interviews and the whole interview process.
And when can we expect season 2?
So we're going to be filming over summer in June and July, and episodes will come out around September, so the beginning of school in the fall.
Awesome. We are going to take a minute now and take questions from the audience. We have a couple people with mics. Raise your hand.
Flat Earth. Do they need mics? Yeah, there are mics over there. The strapping gentleman, yeah. This is for you.
Hello? Hi. Yeah, so I was reading some internet threads, and I was reading some common themes that there was subliminal messaging about flat Earth's doctrine. What do you have to say about that?
So to repeat the question so the audio picks it up, what subtext was there to flat Earth doctrine in this YouTube series?
Peanut butter doesn't expire.
Yeah, sorry. What? Nah. That's a long story. Yeah, there's this flat. That's what we decided as a crew. That's what. So yes.
Okay, next question.
Birds are spice.
Birds aren't
Birds aren't real.
real questions.
Birds not real. This flat.
Okay, so this is for Remy. When are you gonna follow our fan page?
The question is for Remington, and it's when are you going to follow your own fan page that this lovely woman has created?
I have a fan page. What's the at? Like, I didn't know about this.
Everyone follow.
Did you know about this?
Everyone
Did
follow.
you know about As soon as I get home, I'll follow it. Where's my phone? Throw my phone up here. I had no idea, but I'll get right on that when I get home.
Repeat the next one.
I love the fans. I love the fan page. It's amazing.
All right. We get a mic to just anybody who has their hand in the air.
It scares my family, though.
Okay, this question is for anyone who wants to answer. What was the most cringy moment of all?
All right. The question is, what is the most cringy moment of all during the filming?
I just remember the very first night when Eva stepped out of the van and we were all watching. It was our very first shoot of the whole series, and we had no idea what was going to happen. We just told them, we didn't script any of it. We just told them, it's like The Bachelor, you're going to meet him. And so whatever the girls wanted to do, they did. And I just remember watching Eva and Colin interact and watching Colin's face. The whole night, honestly, was so cringy, but looking at Colin, that was one of my favorite cringy moments. And the kiss, of course, with Annalee Crandall.
Any others from you guys?
The whole thing? Question mark. No, there was one point where me and Colin were having a talk, and I don't know how to say.
All right, you have to say it.
Okay.
It's in your contract, I'm sure.
During the 4th episode, when me and Colin were in that moonlit scene, we hugged, and then Colin tried to kiss me, and the cringiest moment for me was not kissing him when he tried to kiss me. It was
What? No. What?
it's not in there because it was so embarrassing for both of us.
Did you duck? What happened?
Should we reenact it?
Will you reenact it?
I'll be Colin. I'll be the camera guy. I backbended. But things turned out great. Why? I just didn't feel like we were ready for that. Like, we had just talked about, like, do you even want to keep going in this? Like, where are you at? And I felt like kissing then wasn't where I wanted to have our first kiss. So.
Maybe wait until he's not dating 20 women at once.
Yeah,
okay.
something like that.
Sure.
But it's Provo. What are we not used to?
Very good. All right, next. Oh,
No, I'm good.
okay.
I
Next
like
question.
all of it. There's a lot that a lot of people haven't seen either that I've seen everything of.
Okay.
But
This question's for Remy. So,
Hey.
when was the last time for some of these guys?
I'm sorry, what?
So when was the last time for some of these guys? I'm just kidding.
What?
My real question is, so my real question is, for the creators, have you guys been able to get any kind of edge academically by doing this?
Have the creators been able to get any kind of edge academically
My
for
professors
doing
think I'm a joke. Not really. I mean, I'm sure it'll look great on an application. Good experience. I mean, that's why we do it. It's for the experience and because it's fun, but it doesn't help my calculus grades really.
Have you received any response from BYU at all? Anybody from BYU about the show?
I mean, just like the Daily Universe has done stories on us. Our beautiful Maxwell over here has done some amazing stories. But yes, just like the newspaper at BYU.
Okay. Next.
You next. Okay. We want a women's tell-all.
Do people want a women tell all? Does anyone want that? It's in the works, so we'll get back to you. I think it looks very promising, but we'll let you know. Stay tuned on our Instagram and social media.
Okay. Are you gonna do later on recap? Not necessarily recap, but just when you're filming the second season, will you go back to Colin and Annalee and film where they're at in their relationship?
Yeah, I think.
The question is, are you going to do a Where Are They Now later on about this couple from this season?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we'll throw them in every now and then and see if they're still together, or if they're married, or they're both engaged to other people. But yeah, and on our social media, we'll keep you guys posted on what they're up to and stuff for sure. You know, when they're going out in public, you know, we'll take pictures of them together.
Oh, we have one over here.
Will Elena be the star of the second season?
Oh, will Elena be the star? Question is, will Elena be the star of the second season?
You know, that's a good question. I think we've pitched the idea to Elena, but I think it's still up in the air if she wants to do it or not. So we're working on it. Well, you guys will have to let her know if you want to keep seeing her on season 2. Can we just give a round of applause for Elena, actually, who's in the back there? Clearly, Colin made a big mistake, so if any of you guys are trying to hit her up, feel free.
Okay, we have time for 2 more questions. Right over here.
This one's for Remington. So I drove 45 minutes from Westminster College just to come and see you.
What? Thank you.
I want to know if you want to go on a date with me,
The question is, Remington, will you go on a date with me? Coming from the question asker.
What's your name? Jenna. Nice to meet you. I'm Remington. Where are you from? Oh, nice. Like, what do you like to do for fun? Yeah, let's talk afters.
Okay, one final question right here in the back.
We'll talk after.
Hi, sorry. I'm from Ecuador, so sorry for my English. So this question for the director. So I really loved the Provo most eligible. So I would like to know if you can make for like a Latin version. Because I would love to be the host.
Will you make a Latin version of Provo's Most Eligible? And this young man in the back would like to be the host.
You know, we've been thinking about going international lately. South America, Africa, you know, I mean, why stop here in Provo?
Yeah, take it global. We need to wrap up. Thank you all so much for coming. Look for more events from The Beehive coming up. Subscribe to our newsletter at TheBeehive.com. Stay tuned for season 2 of Provo's Most Eligible and some forthcoming announcements from this team. Thank you so much, everybody.
We love you guys so much. Provo's Most Eligible fans, you're awesome. Woo! Feel free to get some pictures with Colin and Annalee afterwards.
I'll be selling Remington's phone number.
I don't like